Hey guys, welcome back to another Monster Hunter video. And in today's video we'll be explaining how to kill the Seething Bazelgeuse and basically the best ways to kill it throughout the entire fight. Starting off, we'll go with what I recommend weapon-wise to kill the Seething Bazelgeuse. The first time I went to fight it, I used dual blades, which were actually, even though it would seem more easier because of his move scheme and stuff like that, it was a whole lot harder to kill him with because it just didn't like deliver the damage and deliver the hits that I needed to deliver. So the second time around, I ended up switching it to Charge Blade, which worked wonders and did thousands of more damage. And I was able to hit him a lot more. My friend used an insect glaive. He said it worked out pretty well. He was able to deliver the hits that he needed to do. So basically, what I recommend a little more mobile heavy weapon or a more ranged weapon, because he does get out of your distance a lot. Does like fly in the air and stuff like that. So I would recommend either like a switch axe or a charge blade or a hammer or an insect glaive, and if you can, probably a bow or a bow gun, if you guys can, because that would do a lot more damage on the monster than just normal weapons. I would say like the sword and shield and dual blades. Even though I'm sure it is doable, I'm not the best dual blade user. It is probably very more easy to use weapons like the charge blade and etc. Next, we'll go on to weak points. For weak points, I would say probably the tail, the head, under the stomach are probably the best places to go. On the tail, as you guys will see throughout these clips, I did try to hit it a lot, was not able to sever it, but the head is a very good place to hit, especially when he gets like charged up and stuff like that. The head, the tails, and under the stomach are really good weak points that I usually struck throughout multiple of the match. It made it a lot more, I guess, like those are the places that were able to hit, and also it also helps that those places are pretty big on his body compared to some monsters like with small tails and stuff like that, or like thinner tails like the Velkiana and stuff. It made it a lot more easier to hit him in all these spaces. The next thing I'd like to touch on is the way he acts. So basically, he is kind of his move schemes are very predictable. After you fight it for a long time, when you first start off, he can be kind of unpredictable, and it ends up messing you up a lot. And that is probably the biggest challenge you have to overcome throughout the fight, is him just messing around with you and stuff. But once you get his move schemes down and you get the groove of it, you'll be able to dodge under his stomach and be able to hit him all over the body and not have to deal with things like that. Also, another thing that will help out with the fight a lot is the other monsters that come into the fight. Throughout the fight, you'll see multiple different monsters come in. The most notable ones are the Savage Diablo and the Bazelgeuse. The Savage Diablo, turf wars with it are great. It does a whole lot of damage and helps out with the fight a lot when he comes through and does his little head drag and his head charge and stuff. So that always makes the fight 10 times easier is when he does that. But the one problem is that what happens when they all get together, it's kind of like you can't break, like you kind of can't get hits in because they're all hitting each other and you get congested and you'll get stuck up in the crossfires, which is very hard to deal with. I actually have a clip of it. It's coming up here in a couple seconds. But yeah, as you can see right here, the Savage Diablo comes up and they get in turf war, and the turf war is it's literally they get in turf wars and stuff, and then here you go down inside the more fiery areas, they're fighting each other. We actually got very lucky. He knocked over the Bazelgeuse 3 times in a row. He does this little move that does 500 damage to the Bazelgeuse but knocks him over, and that's really when you want to target the tail area or the head area of his body, because you see Diablo did it again. You can just keep laying hits on him, keep messing him up, and it makes it 10 times easier. Make sure to bring cool drinks, weapons, of course weapons. Make sure to bring cool drinks. I recommend traps and tranks, because tranking them is very easy. And that's basically the best way to do it. But the hardest part about them all fighting together is, like I said, you get stuck in the crossfires. As you'll see, my friend will die later on in one of these clips because of it, and it makes the fight 10 times harder than like it should be when they all get together to start doing that type of thing, because you can't lay hits and you're basically relying on the other monsters to do some type of damage to them, which can be a hassle and can be very annoying at certain points upon the fight. But Basically, that's what you want to roll. If you can get those turf wars, that can make the fight easier or harder depending on how much monster's in there. As you can see, my friend died, and here comes the Bracadillos coming through now too. It just makes the fight 10 times harder, and they even follow each other around the area. As you can see, they're going to the more upper levels of the area, fighting and stuff like that. And it's kind of gets aggressive. Even though they do spread out after, like, at the very end, they stay together for a large majority of the fight, which makes it annoying. At least for me, that's what it was. Now let's talk about strategy. Now strategy, I think the best way to do it is probably very simple. The way you would fight a lot of other like bigger monsters that like the Anjanath and stuff like that, who can get aggressive, but are more like kind of like slow in some of their movements and stuff. Which is lay the hits on them when you can, and lay as much as you can when they're open, because when they get in that aggressive state where you can't hit them, it'll be very, very hard and you'll get messed up a lot. But you want to just keep messing them up when you can until they get tired or worn down, and that's when you deliver the big blows that will knock them out of the game. And again, like the Anjanath turf wars are huge. Like the Anjanath and Rathalos, the turf wars comes through with the Diavolo and Bazelgeuse. So you want to try to, if they can get in the same area, you want to try to make it able for them to be able to fight each other, because that works wonders on the fight. I would say that's the best way possible. Like I said, I recommend weapons. I recommend going for tail, even though I wasn't able to cut it off because it seemed very hard to do. I still recommend trying to go for it, because if you can cut it off, it works out a couple of his move schemes, which is very nice and very helpful throughout the fight. Yeah, but he isn't. Once you get his moves down, he shouldn't be no harder than any other monster you fight. Even though it can be more tedious to some people depending on how you play. I recommend more of like a slower play style, kind of like what you see right here in the clip, where I'm not under his stomach and just messing him up. That makes the fight 10 times easier. Everything gets easier, and that's what you're going to do. And as far as it comes down to, like I said, I always recommend trapping, but we didn't see him do any like limping or any type of things that showing that he was, besides for like being out of breath, we didn't see him limp or anything like that. So basically, I could say the best thing you can do is just wait till you feel like you did enough and throw down a trap and trank him. And that's basically how you can just do the thing like that, and he'll fall asleep a bunch, get knocked over a ton. But yeah, that's what I recommend. I recommend weapon types wise, I recommend ice and thunder. Those help out a lot. And yeah, it's basically the Seething Bazelgeuse. He shouldn't be that hard of a fight. Hope this helps. We should have another one up soon. And yeah, see you later.